Hey, this is Wolf and welcome to Armoury-Terrain. Even though here in Australia it's now the second day of winter, along the east coast of Australia we're having a little bit of a fly infestation. So I've been asked to show how to build a simple fly trap. This doesn't use any chemicals or harsh poisons, so nobody should be affected by it. You're going to need for this build a soft drink bottle, preferably 2 litres just for the shape of it. Some tape, either masking tape or gaff tape, although just sticky tape would do in a pinch. You're also going to need a pair of scissors, a cup of warm water and some sugar. So to begin, first step is take the label off your bottle, because nobody needs that sort of advertising, especially when it's not paid. Now when you look at your bottle, you'll see that there's a couple of lines built into it to help strengthen it. What we're wanting to do is cut along this top line here. Now my scissors aren't going to just puncture this, but if you've got a good pair they will. So what I like to do is get a craft knife and just put it through the bottle like this, just to get it started. Now you could cut it all the way with a craft knife, but I find it ends up with a fairly jagged edge, so I prefer the scissors. So cutting around this top line, now gives you 2 parts of the bottle. Seems fairly simple, doesn't it? Now if you take this lid off and place it the top of the bottle into the bottle, it should just about sit there on its own, or it might just fall in. Okay, so this is the important part. Make sure you've rinsed your bottle and then that you've actually dried your bottle so the tape has something to stick to. So all we're doing with the tape is reinforcing the top of this bottle a little bit, just to make it that bit stiffer and thicker. Now don't worry if this isn't a neat, tidy job. Unless of course you're a perfectionist, in which case make it as neat and tidy as you can. Using a couple of short pieces of tape would be a much easier way of doing it. So what you're wanting to do is put 2 layers of tape around the inside of the bottle. That's just going to give it a little bit of extra friction. Now when you place this in the top of it, you should be able to tape it on. So just press it in until it's nice and tight, and then tape it on in a number of places. Try not to drop it into the bottle, because it makes life more difficult. Now with this you want to make sure it's sealed fairly well along the top, because otherwise those annoying little flies are going to get out again. So if this was to be used outside, you could put things like dog food in there, or leftover bits of mince or other things. But if you've got a dog or a cat, don't do that. They will find it and they will raid it. Especially my dog, who's completely food motivated. Okay, now that we have the thing glued together, we need to bait it. So I've gotten a cup of warm water. Okay, so it's maybe 3/4 of a cup. And into it I'm just going to add some sugar. Normal white sugar, Into 1 cup of water I'm going to add probably 4 or 5 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then give that a good stir to dissolve it all into a sugar syrup. Now, as long as it's still liquid, there's no upper limit to how much sugar you could add. You could also add icing sugar to it. I don't know if brown sugar will dissolve well enough, but in theory you could even add honey, although I found that honey separates from the water. Okay, so now that that's stirred, carefully and slowly pour it into your fly trap. Not like I've done and spilling it everywhere. Quickly mop up any spilt stuff because I should have used a little jug instead of a cup. And here you have a fly trap. If you put it in a windowsill or somewhere sunny, this sugar syrup will ferment. And all the flies will fly in after it, go, oh, this is good stuff, but then they'll crawl up the sides of the container and not be able to get out again. These fly traps are really effective. On some summer camps, we've used these, and at the end of one day, they've been, 2/3 filled with flies. Now, this is a straight out recyclable thing. Once you've used it and you think there's enough flies in there, empty the dead flies and the sugar water into a garden somewhere and bury them, and then this goes in your recycle bin. So really, it's a no waste item. There's no harsh chemicals, and you haven't really spent any money on it. So this is Wolf from Armoury-Terrain saying, stay home and build something.